Hey guys, it's Ryan with Fluid Health bringing you another episode of Science-Powered Fitness, and today we're going to be talking about the windlass mechanism. It's actually an action down at the foot, and it has to do with the plantar fascia of the foot, the musculature of the foot, the intrinsic toe flexors, abductor, and flexor hallucis. Hallucis is just your big toe. It means it's flexing or abducting the big toe, and it has to do with the transverse medial arch of the foot. Now, while we're describing this, is a lot of people have a lot of pain in their feet. So plantar fascial issues, ankle instability, rolled ankles, shin splints, that kind of stuff. And what we want to do is just make sure you have a better understanding of what's really happening down at the foot. And one of the primary principles is this idea that there's a tension line on the bottom of the foot that attaches your heels to your toes, and it's called the windlass mechanism. And what it requires is that the big toe has to dorsiflex in order to create this tensioning of that line of tension that attaches those two segments. So it literally pulls your heel closer to your toe box, and it creates an arched effect. Now the arch is supposed to absorb ground reaction, and that's why it's so important. So our body is literally absorbing it like a springboard, and I want to show you those actions today. We have a guest here today, Patsy. She's going to help us show it. She's got great feet. She's got a good arch here. So we're going to show you how it works. And really the arch supports the reaction of the ground coming up into the limb, and you absorb that action at the foot. And some estimates show about 17% of the ground reaction force is absorbed at that mechanism right there before it goes up to the ankle. So again, the kilojoules of force go through that structure. Now our feet can be flat from, again, congenital issues. The structure can actually become compromised. And again, your foot is colliginous up into your mid-20s, which means you can mold the bone structure into a flat position, which oftentimes requires orthotics or interventions that way. But a lot of times what we do is we have to fortify the basic muscular structure to help to support that and not just rely on the shoe wear. And that's what we want to make sure we draw your attention to, because there's a lot of stuff that you can do. Another thing to keep in mind is that your hip has to be stable, or otherwise you have to take the foot in and react more with the foot. So oftentimes we talk about the proximal hip stability as being necessary so that we don't overreact with the foot to have to stabilize. And if it's compromised, well, it can inflame those tissues down there, make them work too hard, and then we get into those inflammatory conditions like plantar fasciitis. Okay, so that's it. So I'm going to show you on Patsy here. Let's see if I can get this angle here. There it is. Very good. So Patsy's just showing you basically what would be load acceptance to mid stance as she walks through into heel off. Now, Patsy, let's go back into mid stance right there. Now notice the arch of her foot. Now it's going to collapse in as she puts weight on it. Okay, that's a medial rotation and adduction. So that's a flattening of the arch. Okay, so her bone structure is starting to flatten out, tarsal spreading, the fascia is stretching, those toe flexors are stretching. Now as she steps through her stride, she's going to lift her heel off, and notice when the big toe dorsiflexes, it actually creates the arch by tensioning the fascia. And that puts that arch into a more of an abducted, away from the center of gravity position. So it's rolling your ankle and foot open. And that's how you unlock the foot and ankle for propulsion into suspension. So it takes that ankle and puts it into an external rotation to prepare your leg for swing. Now, if we have an imbalance in tension there, right, because we overload it, too much force, because the butt's not supporting it, it'll dump in and stretch that fascia, irritate it. And then you don't have much in the way of that tension when you push off the big toe. So it can really irritate it as you push through your stride. Okay? So that's why it's so important that we control the glute, maintain our proximal stability, and then fortify those short toe flexors through footwork. Short footwork, they call them toe crunches, tibialis work where you pull your toes up, creates the arch, and then teaching you how to absorb the force through the foot as you're going through your gait cycle. Okay, so important things. We don't want to just rely on orthotics or stretching or rolling. Most of that's just symptom management. We want to get to the mechanism, focus on what really works, and then make the changes we need to improve our quality of life. There it is. So another episode today, guys. If you have questions on any of it, reach out, admin at fluidhealthandfitness.com. Remember, your body's designed to move, so stay in motion, and we'll see you next time.